Let's talk Tanya for the 4th of Kislev of a leap year. Yesterday we began the discussion about the importance of action mitzvahs, and we'll find out the discussion is not only about action mitzvahs, but also about studying Torah, and specifically studying about action mitzvahs, and the advantage of mitzvahs and the study of Torah over trying to connect to Hashem through fostering a relationship, becoming a more spiritual person, having an emotional attachment to God, ava and yira, love for God and awe and a respect for God. Why is it that mitzvahs are so much more effective at creating a connection than connecting to God through our emotions or even through our comprehension, trying to understand and relate to God intellectually and emotionally? So yesterday we explained that there's an inherent limitation to our intellect, our emotions, when we're talking about trying to understand God or have a feeling towards God. And that is that God himself, we can't really understand what he is. We have zero understanding of his substance. We just know that he's there. That's called, we know his mitzias, we know that he exists, but the mahus, the substance, what he is, what he's about, that's obviously beyond us. And this obviously creates a barrier in terms of trying to create a connection, a relationship with something we can't really relate to in a real way. On the other hand, and here's where the Alter Rebbe begins in Tanya today, when we're talking about mitzvahs, when you're doing a mitzvah, and the example the Alter Rebbe uses is, let's say you're holding an esrog. It's sukkahs, and the sukkahs, there's the mitzvah to take the 4 kinds. One of them is the esrog. You're holding the esrog in your hand. The Alter Rebbe says, radically, you're actually holding godliness in your hand. Why is that? This is the substance of godliness, because the energy within the esrog, the divine energy within the esrog, comes straight from the world of Atzilus, which is the world of godliness. That is the spark of energy that exists within the esrog. And when you're holding it, you are actually holding godliness in your hands. Now you're going to argue, okay, then why do I have to do a mitzvah? Anytime that I interact with anything physical, I'm holding godliness. Yes, that is true. But in every physical object, because there is the klipa, there is that shell, that husk that covers up. So the godliness is concealed. When we do a mitzvah, on the other hand, as Dr. Rebbe explained extensively in the earlier parts of Tanya, in a mitzvah, there is no hester panim, there is no concealment. So what we have is godliness is revealed, and I'm holding it in my hands. Now that's a relationship. The same thing is if I am studying Torah. Let's say I am studying the halachas, the laws of the mitzvah of shaking an esrog. Or I am studying the chassidus behind the mitzvah of esrog. So in this case, again, because the esrog is something I can relate to and I can understand, when I grasp that in my mind, I am in a way grasping godliness in a much greater way than I've heard to try to grasp God on its own and understand God or relate to God emotionally when God is essentially beyond relating to. Now, what about studying the Kabbalah in that case? If I'm just studying about God, as opposed to studying the secrets behind the mitzvah, the Kabbalistic secrets behind the mitzvah, what if I'm just studying Kabbalah? Do I accomplish anything by doing that? It would seem that not. If I'm doing a mitzvah, I'm holding godliness. If I'm studying about a mitzvah, so I have that mitzvah in my mind. But what about the study of pure Kabbalah? That we will discuss in tomorrow's Tanya.